So I wanted to go over a couple things here when it comes to the AMC Apes and the GME pumpers and Roaring Kitty and all that. So before I do that, make sure to come over to ztrades.net. Check our terms and conditions. Nothing I say is financial advice. Also, below, join the Discord. It is completely free. So I want to go ahead and jump right into it here. When it comes to AMC, the first time that this had happened, the hedge funds weren't prepared. The brokers didn't know what the process was to stop it. And it was kind of like, everybody just went into shock, and it was making the news. They're like, what do we do? And the more they asked what they should do and they freaked out and it was on the news, the bigger the hype got. Right? And it went nuts. Went absolutely insane. Let's go ahead and take a look. I cleared my chart out so we can see nothing on here at all. Look at that. So, it's been split. Or it's been diluted, and it's been reverse split, so the numbers are going to be off, but it was like $2 and it ran to 70. Okay, so that's the 19 to 700 up here. But let's look at some of the other pops in the meantime. Let me come over to a weekly chart, and we're going to take a look at that. We had a pop right here from 294 to 536. That's over double. We had a pop from 127 to 344. That's over double. Same thing here. Okay. And every time there's been a pop, every single time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the big one, what has happened 100% of the time? First off, what has not happened? What's not happened is it didn't continue to go up, like, let's say, I don't know, NVIDIA. When it popped, it kept going, right? That's what hasn't happened 100% of the time. And then also what has happened 100% of the time, it went down. Every time it's popped, it went down. Every single time. So if I have an options contract, well, the IV is going to be 300%, so the rot on that is going to, be extremely elevated. And you may be thinking, well, it's dropping. How come I'm not making any money? You buy a put that, would be in the money right here, okay? If it hits this right here, and you buy it up here, and it gets down there, and you're like, it's lower. I'm deep in the money here. I've lost money. What's going on? I don't understand. This trading stuff is a scam, right? You're not going to make any money. You can. When IV is rising, implied volatility is going up, and you nail the right direction, you can make a lot of money. So if you bought in as this was going up and the IV is going up, and you sold it as it was going up, you made a lot of money. When it starts to drop, you're getting it when the IV is already maxed. So there's something fighting you here. Yes, the direction is correct, but what's going to win more? The cooling IV, the IV cooling off, or the direction that you're getting right? Look at all those probabilities. There's one that's guaranteed to go against you. That's going to fight you along the way the whole time, and that's the IV starting to cool off, right? Especially if you bought it over in here and it's slowing down and the movements are slower and slower. Kind of like a bouncy ball. You drop off a roof of a building, and the first bounce is very hard, and it's getting smaller and smaller. And you just can't figure out why you can't make any money. Well, what I do, since all the options go up through the roof, is I would sell a put. Now, when it's trending down like this, that's not something that I want to do. But I remember whenever it was at the top here, there was a guy in my group who sold, when it was at $70-something back in 2021, he sold a $29 put for nearly $2,000. Meaning if it hits 29, he's just forced to buy it, and he keeps the 2,000. His dollar cost average is 27, right? Well, it stayed up in this range, and it was bouncing around for a while, right? And on one of the pops, he ended up covering it for like pennies, so he gets the difference, right? $100 versus, $1,900, $1,800 profit. He took advantage of the high IV. And that dingbat that bought the put for $1,900, it ended up going in the money and only being worth like $200. right? So you got to learn advanced strategies. You can't just be like, okay, apes, we're going to buy the top and then just hold forever. What is pretty much guaranteed based on history? I'm not saying it's guaranteed. Based on history, what is it saying? It's saying that 100% of the time, it's gone back down. What positions can you take? There's two. There's two that I take. The fact that I'm giving this information out for free is ridiculous. It's a cash secured put, and I sell short. Oh, you're crazy. Oh my God. Margin called. No. You know, even if I bought, let's just go over in here. We'll go over to what's going on right now. Okay? I was selling short over here. I didn't get margin called. What the heck's 100 shares? Right? A few $100 loss if I sell it. I can hold it forever. There's no expiration. It's not an options contract. And what's happened every time? It's came down. Now, if you really think it's going to be going up, I could have hedged with a debit spread, gone very wide, and I didn't. Okay, and I shorted right here, right out the gates. It's a shame I couldn't have shorted higher, but I shorted right out the gates. Let's see if we can go and take a look at that over here. Move myself over here. I shorted right in here somewhere, and I held it and let that thing rot and fall. I covered, I can't remember, I think I covered right over, no. I swung that into today. And I covered somewhere over in here. So how do I make money when I'm going short? Well, how do you make money when you're going long? Let's do that. I get in at $4 and it goes to, let's say, 10. What's the difference between 4 and 10? $6. I made $6 profit a share. I buy 100 shares at $600. It is just flipped when you short sell it. I short sell it at 11 and it goes to 5. What's 11 minus 5? 6. So I make $6 per share that I shorted. I shorted 100 shares at $600. Right? So what if it keeps going up? It's not an options contract. If it's an options contract, I'm cooked. I've got to get it right immediately. But the probability says the longer I hold it, the more chance I am at being right. And I'm still short on it. Go ahead. Pump it back up. I'd love you to pump it up to $20. Right? I've already covered most of it. I'll just re-short it again. The second shares are available to short. I don't have any expiration. There is a cost to borrow. Could be 50%, but that's like APY. Right? What would that be in a day? Like a fraction of a percent? When I'm making, a truckload of money, what is it going to cost me? $1? At most, it's not going to cost me $1 at most. Probably like 37 cents to borrow those shares for all that time. That's APY. That's not cost to borrow immediately, right? Let's take a look at GameStop. Excuse me, guys. And I'm going to take a look at show you guys the cash secured puts as well. GameStop. It was what? Let's take a look at this. And guys, it's not, you guys can try to pump it up as much as you want. You're not going to beat the hedge funds. The hedge funds will contact the brokers. The brokers will freeze the buying, right? The ones that retail's on. Robinhood will still do that, and they'll just eat the lawsuits, right? So we were around $9. The low was about 10, right? And then we just absolutely took off. We exploded. So imagine if you shorted up here, how smart that would have been. You went against everyone else. Now, I talk about what I do and everyone flames me. They all make fun of me in the forums everywhere. Well, I'm right, though. But doesn't that make sense? If everyone was for me, that means I would be losing because 98% of retail traders, according to data, lose. So it makes sense that everyone would say I'm stupid. Wouldn't it? It would. Again, everyone needs to stop focusing on trying to be right and how good you are at trying to be right and focus on probability. Again, what has happened every single time it's popped? Where did it go? The big one over here. Wait, that wasn't the big one. We'll go over to a monthly. You all know what it looks like. Did it come down? Yeah, if my head was in the right space over here, I would have been going short on this. I remember it being at 5. The second shares were available to short, I would have just locked in. You can't make any money on options. It wouldn't work unless you're selling, right? Let's go over to the weekly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pops. 10 times you could have made money selling short. Now, I'm not going to sell short. I'm not going to buy a cash secured put every time there's a pop, right? It needs to be something that's pretty aggressive, very aggressive like this. When we go from 22 to 50 and I'm selling a put at 22 where it was, right? Or maybe even a little bit below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks before it got down there. Even if you got assigned at the 22 strike, it shot up to 36, so you made $1,600. You could have sold a covered call on it, right? And you would have been assigned at some point up here, and the shares would have been taken from you, right? So let's take a look at what I was doing. We're going to go ahead and pull up. This is the wheel channel in Z Trades, which you can see right here. And I'm kind of just flaming everybody, right? With the Wojak little skits, making fun of all the new people.
This crappy job. Chart looks really good. Maybe he's right. AMC is indeed at an attractive price right now.
I'll fast
if
forward
I just
through
buy low and sell high, I... Bogdanov. He is buying AMC.
These are so funny to me.
It, but make sure he unable to buy it.
You guys know how it turns out, right? Anyways, I shouldn't have thrown that in there. I'm sorry, guys. But let's take a look at it. Look what I'm doing here on AMC by selling puts to the idiots that are buying them. Some clown, poor guy, I'm glad I don't see him because I'd feel so bad I'd have to give him his money back. He somehow bought a put for $269 when the bid was 20 and the ask was 30. Well, I sold that, so that's credit received to me. The lower that's worth, the more I make. I am agreeing to buy AMC at $2.50, and I sold a put, and it credited me $269. That's mine. My max loss on AMC would be $250 if it's delisted, and I'm assigned the shares, and the shares go to zero. Right? So I have no risk. That's arbitrage right there. That's very rare that happens. But take a look at that. I'm milking money already out of thin air. Right? I just simply hit sell. Well, AMC wasn't worth $2.50. I'm selling a put betting that it won't drop to where it was prior to this run. Let's take a look at it right here. You know, the low was, whoop, that's GME. Let's pull up AMC. Okay? Look at this dip right here. What was this? $2.90. It's never been there, that low. And I'm selling a put where it's never been since before the COVID thing, but it's a different stock now, right? So I'm betting that it won't drop. What is the probability? If it's never been there and there's all this hype and then people short it at the top, they're going to eventually squeeze again. There's going to be a covering. No, it's not going to break the top again. The apes will then buy the top again and lose. And those puts are going to expire worthless. And even so, let's say it did drop to $2.50. I'd just be assigned the shares. I'd be forced to buy them. I still get to keep the premium. Then I can sell calls whenever it squeezes again. Right? What did AMC do? They dumped a bunch of shares when this thing was popping. Right? I think it was over in here. They sold a bunch of shares to pay off some of their debt. You clowns that don't know how to trade in the proper way and don't understand probability and are focusing on being right and trying to recreate a moment that you're never going to be able to recreate again, right? Unless it's just, you're probably not going to do that, right? You're giving them money so that they can pay off their debt and make the company more valuable, right? That's all you're basically doing. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways, guys, if you want to learn some of these strategies, if you want to learn how to trade the proper way, and everyone even disagreed with me in my own group on what I was doing, you can join Z Trades. The link will be in the bio below. And if you guys like this, make sure to like and follow for more.